Hey, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm beyond happy to have Mr. Rick J. Lindsay with me, the owner founder of X Insurance, the man we like to call I call Sky Boss because you're up there doing your thing in your helicopter, and we're talking all things helicopter tonight with Mr. Lindsay. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. I'm in Naples. It's hotter than crap down here. So we worked on the helicopter all day today and got the wrap fixed. And I flew it today with Dale Owens, who's how I got into being able to fly the races back. I don't know whether it's 5 or 6 years ago now, but so at least five, maybe six. I'm a
Well,
bad counter. That's what I always tell them when they try and pin you down on, well, what date did you do this? I'm like, I don't have a good memory for that stuff.
well, you've been involved with Race World Offshore for several years now, and that's what I wanted to ask you: is how did you originally get into this? Because I know you love flying the chopper. That's just a love of yours. You're good at it. The videos you put out, the quality of editing you do is amazing. Like everybody that races loves your stuff. So how did this become your thing?
Well, I back in 1985, started insuring helicopter ski guides and fell in love with helicopters. So probably 26 years ago, I started actually flying my own helicopter up in Utah. And then I had the plan to fly it back and forth from Utah to Florida, which I did a helicopter down here. And I met Dale Owens, who's an expert on Airbus helicopters.
Oh, I hit the wrong button. Where'd you go, babe? What did I do? Rick, you there? What happened?
I think he might
I
have
think
come
his phone
back.
died.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
He might join back. Just give
all
me a
right.
minute.
Let's give it a second here. I think
He's
I
in
think
the hangar.
no, he's at the house, but I think Rick's phone died.
Oh, here we go. Maybe.
All right, I apologize, everybody. I think Rick lost signal. They were having some internet issues. So if you have questions,
I apologize, everybody.
go ahead and
I think
send
Rick
those
lost
in,
signal.
and I'll try to answer them as they come in. I appreciate you watching. If you like what you see on As the Prop Turns, please share it with your friends. Tell a family member. Let them know that you know what we're doing over here. We did a really cool thing last weekend in Muskegon with Operation Black Sheep, which is about veterans. They restored an old military boat that was used over in Nam and the rice paddies, and really cool stuff. Great deal.
See if I have a page.
And hey, TJ, how you doing? Waiting for Rick Lindsay to come back from X Insurance. They were having some internet issues, and then he disappeared on me. So we'll see if he pops back in. But we had some great questions for him. He had said just previous to losing connection, he loves helicopters. Found his passion in 1985 when he was insuring helicopters. And hello, Lily. All right. Looks like we got some people in watching. Hopefully, hopefully Rick comes back in here.
I'm sure it'll take a minute.
Yeah. Let me just text this phone. All right. So So anyway, I apologize again. Rick Lindsay was going to be with us. Safe Cash guys were supposed to be here, but Rick and Scott are currently working on two different boats. Scott's working on the Class 7. Rick's working on the Mod V. They're feverishly trying to get some things done so they can go to Atlantic City, which is this weekend. And that's when Rick, the Sky Boss, as I call him, said he would fill in. And again, they're having some technical issues, but he's in Naples. They've got the chopper ready. Neil's with him. They've got all the camera stuff ready to go. I believe they're flying to Atlantic City tomorrow, and Rick will be there this weekend for all the racers to film the event. So everybody's got to be excited about that. I know I would be if I was racing a boat in Atlantic City. There's Neil. All right. See, folks, I told you.
They were trying to get back in, but we don't see you though.
Okay, hold on.
I see you.
I can see
You're not
you.
up on the screen is the only thing.
How about now? I see it's doing this flip flop thing.
Yep, there you go.
How's that? Neil, Rick, you guys see me and hear me?
You hear us?
Yes?
Yep, we see and hear you.
Okay, great. So, welcome back to As the Prop Turns, everybody. We got a audience in here. I appreciate you guys watching. Rick Lindsay,
You there?
welcome back. We lost you when you were telling us about your love for helicopters of 1985. Go ahead, Rick. All right. We're still having a couple technical issues.
All right.
There he is.
So, I just fell in love with helicopter for that.
I don't.
Yeah, we're having a sound issue. Neil, you'll get it right here. Everybody will be patient.
I don't understand what's.
Oh,
Go
We
ahead.
should. You can't hear us right now.
I hear you perfectly.
Yeah.
You-
Okay. Can you hear Rick now?
I'm here.
Yep, now I hear him.
You got me?
Yep.
Okay. Good.
Okay. So, Rick Lindsay.
So anyway, I met Dale Owens down here buying the A-Star, and he was race control for John Carbonell and race control for Larry down in Key West. So I think that was my first race. Maybe that's not right. Maybe the first race was Sarasota and we worked our way, but it seems like 50 years ago, really. It's been 5, but there's lots of drama in this thing. I'm from Utah, and everybody watches the Real Housewives of Utah, Salt Lake. And I think boat racing has more drama in it than that.
I'm going to have to agree with you
No.
today, sir.
No,
That's
it's fun,
a very
actually.
good
And I'm
analogy.
glad. Yeah.
Well, but
Well, I'm excited to get back and fly in Atlantic City, and that's through a new partnership with Larry and RWO and UIM. So we're excited to see how it goes.
well, and everybody's excited to hear more about that. Your involvement has grown from sponsorship of teams into a partnership now with RWO. And, I go back to Key West, and at one point we were all kind of nervous you weren't going to come back and join us, because at one point you kind of wished everybody well, and you were kind of up in the air, I think, with what you were doing personally. I know your teams were staying involved, but and then yeah, we haven't had your helicam this year, and I miss it. I think you guys put out great content, and I'm happy to see it come back. I just would like to hear more about the partnership and what it's going to do for everybody involved. Because I know X Insurance carries.
Well, I mean, I think the RWO, they have the longest history and the most stable. They worked with P1, and you know, when you have a race boat, especially a class one boat, you can't just walk away and shut it down. I guess you can, but that would be, you know, stupid. So anyway, um, you know, P1 was the big boy in town, UIM at that point, and you know, I heard everybody complaining about, you know, the stuff that went on, and they were underfunded, and I think that's why HRA is so exciting for everybody. Um, but you know, you gotta put out a product that is a win-win for everybody. Sponsors have to win, the racers have to win, the promoter has to win, the sanctioning body, and you know, I think there's been a lot of evolution going on. We all kind of left when West, whatever the name, World Power Boat Association was formed, and Leah was the one running it, and Tommy was helping her, and you know, we were all, I think, headed in a direction that we put our complaints into action. That's really what we did. So it just wasn't me. It was the whole group. I couldn't have got all those people to agree to form, you know, the World Powerboat Association or whatever it was. But, you know, I think IHRA's obviously learned a lot, and the boating world's different than other stuff. So, you know, I wish I would have been flying for them, but they didn't. They didn't want to agree the terms that I've been flying under for 5 years, which is I do it for free. I don't charge anybody, and I share it with everybody. And I want to have the right to use the my product. And you know, that's always been allowed, and that's what IHRA wouldn't allow. So um, anyway, it's expensive for me to take the helicopter there. And Larry and Roderick and Rob, and you know, I think most of the boaters I've met appreciate and understand that it's not, you know, I mean, we're here a week before the event getting the helicopter ready. This one's been broke for, you know, a year and a half, and it's back in pristine shape. So last year I used my Utah helicopter, which, you know, transporting it to Lake of the Ozarks, doing all that stuff, leaving it there, you know, because I'm not going to fly it back and forth. It's not easy. You know, it's 2-3 day trips normally, like going to Atlantic City. We'll leave tomorrow morning and we'll see when we get there, but we don't control the weather.
Right.
So we got to kind of go with Mother Nature.
And that's what I commend
But
you for, because people at home, they don't know this, Rick. They don't know how much time and money and effort and the commitment you've made to this. So, I mean, I'm excited about your partnership because A, you're not going away. And that makes me happy because I love seeing the X Insurance and all the teams. You got great teams. I was bummed when Scott and Rick couldn't be on tonight, but we got the Sky Boss instead, so I'm happy. But
right.
you've done so much for the sport. What does it look like going forward? What does 2027 look like for X Insurance, RWO, UIM? What is that picture?
I mean, again, you know, as I told Larry, and that I want, and I have done since I did Michigan City, you know, I don't want to do it 1 year. That's not a strategy or a campaign or a commitment. So I do 5 year deals, and that's the deal. And again, I think I want it to be a win-win. So just like I've told, you know, other people when there's sponsorship opportunities, and you know, right now, why aren't sponsors easier to attract? Right? Because they're spending money elsewhere. And I think we need to show a steady, you know, schedule, you know, and just it's regular. People can depend on it. It's not all over the place where you wonder who's doing what. That's challenge one. So I just do what I do, and that's all I can control, you know. And I have an opinion, but I don't control anything in the boat racing world.
Well,
I heard people say that, you know, I owned the association WPRA, and I donated money to it. I paid membership fees so that we could, instead of complaining about other people, all come together and do it the right way. So, I think that's still what we have to do as a group. But again, I'm committed to it for the next 5 years. I know that everybody knows that, my boat flipped, I think, been damaged twice this year. It was damaged in Key West, a couple of years ago. I forget all of those bad things. I'm just glad everybody's safe.
Right.
And, I can report that we're fixing the green boat. It'll be back in Michigan City, but
Wow.
we've also purchased a boat coming from Australia. Will be here in September sometime, arrive in Texas, but it's a boat that has a championship history, and we're lucky to get it. And so anyway, that kind of shows my level of commitment is,
Well, and I know the
not,
pedigree of the boat you're speaking about. It's a 1997, I believe.
yeah. I mean, you know way more about it than I do. I bought boats thinking they were good boats and found out they weren't good boats. I actually think the MTI is an awesome boat. Um, I think there's lots of things going
Okay,
on
but
that make
there's
it
some,
tough, and we're
but there's
repairing
something
it.
about these victories you guys just can't get away from.
Well,
They're, well, they're just good boats. I mean, and let's be honest, the Dirty Money guys walked away from a scary crash, and we all love to see
right.
that they walked away. But that boat, the cockpit was literally, it was fine. I mean,
Well, when they went, again, I was watching the live stream, and I thought it was the X Insurance red boat that went over. And again, people think I freak out, and I mean, if you do, I was just like, well, now we're going to have to be fixing another boat. It's not like it should be catastrophe when catastrophe happens. That's the whole point of marketing good insurance is, if you do it the right way, you don't panic when what can happen does happen.
correct.
And, you can only do so much, but you got to have a plan to go forward no matter what. There's not a reason to give up on anything unless unless you just want to, which the things I've done, I want to do, and I do for a long time. I've had one job. I've worked for one guy myself. I worked with my dad for a long time, but, um, you know, I put my money where my mouth is and try and hook up with good people. And I want to treat people the way I want to be treated. Whether somebody was giving me money as a sponsor, I'd want to, and I'm not selling sponsorships. I
Right.
would like to create more money for the other people to get sponsors, but I really don't want a sponsor
Well,
to
you've
take
always
over my
been for the
boats.
team and for the little guy, and that's something that I've always admired about you. And I finally got to meet you in person. Shook your hand last year in Chicago. Did one of those awkward. I didn't let go of your hand right away because it took me so long to get to the Sky Boss. But there you were, and like Safe Cash, MJ, the driver, the young lady.
Right,
You
right.
you believe in people who are out there to make a difference. And that's what I like. I mean, you've got all of your teams are so diversified, but they all come back to that family nucleus.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great family activity, and it's a great sport. And everybody needs to have something they do in real life, not on a video game. So Cameron and JJ and Nick and Owen, they're both awesome families, and Priscilla and Carrie Ann, and, just all the people that are good. They make it easy and they make it fun, and that's what we want to do for everybody, really. So, but I do think watching, all the footage, the helicopter is, the best footage. I sit there and think of, where we would have been when that happened, and the footage you would have of it, which some people might not want to see it, especially when people are injured but once
Right.
everybody's safe, then everybody wants to see it.
Well, and thank God all those guys, everybody walked away. That's what we always want to see. Your guys, nobody's been hurt. Thank God. Safety systems do matter. And, I know you're all about safety with all your teams, everybody, so it's a
Well,
shame
and
when
that's what
boats
the
get wrecked.
canopy boat, the canopy boats, I mean, they've proven themselves to. I mean, I remember when Randy and Grant went over in Key West. That was kind of similar to the, you know,
Yeah,
dirty money ex insurance. Both boats went up, and then one came down, and the other one went over. And I don't think anybody does that stuff intentionally. It's racing, and they got closer together than they would have hoped to, and somebody ended upside down. Could have been either one.
true. Yeah. And in racing, it's, everybody, these guys get in these boats knowing what can happen. Let's be honest. Let's start there, right? And that's a good reason to give a shout out
Yeah.
to Reverend Jim Black right there, because that's a guy that comes to say a prayer for everybody, takes his time, loves the sport. I don't want to do that. Anyway, I just, like I said, they all walked away, so let's leave it there and
Yeah, the canopies are great and safe, and all the equipment's worked
well,
since
I've
I've been
heard
involved.
I heard a buzz in Atlantic City. There is going to be a team from Australia, so maybe that's the buzz around what you're doing. I don't know, but we'll see. So at the end of the season, Rick, what do you want racers to say about Rick J. Lindsay and X Insurance? What? I mean, other than I know it's going to be all about the great footage, what do you want to say, see that they say about you that you brought to the Race World Offshore?
I mean, overall, I want to be known as a giver, not a taker. So, I'm not there to take anything from anybody. If somebody wants something, they want footage, they want, and again, you said I edit, and I don't do anything except fly the helicopter. I don't do the cameras. That's really
No, but it's
Parker and
it's your
Neil and
people,
a
yeah,
whole crew.
right.
Yeah. So, but there, Parker is the one who really got me into the photography and, stepping up the game and doing some stuff that, makes it better. So, but it's
Well, yeah,
all an
yeah,
investment of time and money, just like Rick Rabb and those other guys that they do it because they love it and they invest their time and their money.
right.
And, as you get older, the most important thing you have is your time. So if people actually come and, want to be a positive and they're given their time, I think that's the most valuable thing any of us can give. And then when you can do it with good people and have a team relationship, a bigger family relationship, and it's good for my kids and my employees. And we want to get, our insureds nationwide more involved. We're reaching out to them to come to all the events. And, we have a lot of people in every town we go to. I was surprised how many people we have businesses down in, the Lake Pontchartrain area. So
Well,
anyway, till you stop and look at it, you really don't know.
yeah, well, you insure a lot of high risk places. I'm sure that's probably a high risk place to live and operate. So,
Well, like towing and, high risk activities. And I would say that it's like racing. Everybody wants to say that's high risk. Well, it's not really high risk. There are risks to it, but the safety equipment and everything everybody does to make it safe. But you're always going to have accidents and events that are out of your control. And
that's true.
having a plan, it doesn't matter whether you're in a boat and you got to get the or whatever your situation is. We do a lot of firearms businesses and training people to use it so that they think they have a gun and they're going to be able to use it, or a knife. They don't like guns. A flashlight is something that you can defend yourself with if you have a plan. If you don't have
Right.
a plan, you're probably going to die when they attack you. So.
Right. So, hey, a lot of teams spend a small fortune just getting to the race. Is there a plan, do you think, in the future for these guys with the IHRA, people were excited because they had that shiny carrot, tow money, prize purse, all the things racers did want to hear and talk about. We had a piece about that earlier, but you know, do you think there will be a future that some, the bracket guys especially, because let's be honest, the bracket guys are on way smaller budgets than a pro class one team, but we're all spending the same money to get there and stay there.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm not I don't know all of the rules, right? But when we were flying with the gimbal, the camera on the front, we were doing it with the guys from a TV show. And, I think that we had a plan. I had a plan to, again, donate what we were doing and donate more to, bring that to Discovery Channel or whoever. And a lot of people have had that plan. So, my plan was, look, a third of anything, if it's $1 million or $10 million, whatever this show generates or whatever the income is, a third should go to the promoter, Larry, RWO, P1. I don't care who it is, but they need to be good people who give back to all of us. A third should go to the racers, and a third should go to the production, right?
Okay.
Whoever
That's a
it
great
is.
plan.
And I thought we had it, and that's when I was told that we couldn't go to Cocoa Beach as pro class one. We could go back as class one, which again, that's when we formed WPRA and said, we'll do this on ourselves, because the guys that said we had a deal wouldn't show us the deal, right? And
So
why
is that
would you
what made
just
that
do what you?
short-lived?
Yeah, why would you just do what you said you would do when I went to Reno and introduced you to the guys, and months they said that we don't have it, and then they're like, yep, we got an agreement. And I'm like, great, show it to me. And they're like, oh, we can't do that, it's confidential. And then all of this other stuff came up, and now the whole deal's falling apart again. If you have a good plan, you have to be able to execute it. But if it starts getting wobbly as you get close to actually bringing something across the finish line,
Right.
it falls apart. And
Well,
again, the guy that we were hooked up with, again, he might be somebody who could do it, but from my personal relationship with him, I wouldn't trust him, right? Because he didn't do what he said, and that's in life. The one thing I want people to say to me at the end of this year and in my life is he did what he said he would do. Right?
okay.
That's more important than anything, because anybody can talk,
You're
anybody
right.
can tell a good story, but do you actually do what you say you'll do? And so I want Larry to succeed. What's going to happen in 2027, which was your original question, I don't know, right? But
Okay.
I know we're still going to have teams that want to go race, and they'll probably do just like this past year, what's possible. I think
Okay.
everybody's going to IHRA races pretty much. RWO, Atlantic City's a new race, so I don't think that's like a fair comparison,
Okay.
right? So,
Well,
you know,
with that being said, are you surprised with all the personnel changes the IHRA has experienced this season? Are you surprised to see where it's at right now? I mean, I'll give them credit for they've put on 4 races. Okay. Not going to say they were all smooth or whatever, but they have put on 4 races. But did you predict this or expect this?
I mean, again, when Tommy told me that, he was going to go work at IHRA, you could have knocked me off the chair. Right. I
I'm
was
sure.
Larry called me up and said, Tommy's working for IHRA. And I said, who told you that bullshit? Right. Because Tommy was my guy. Right.
Right.
And he shocked me. So again, that's not, and I tell people I have a real job. So I'm situationally very much aware when I'm flying the helicopter and when I'm working. And in this stuff, I just kind of try and trust the people that they're going to do what they say they'll do. And, I've had my stuff with Smitty at OPA when I flew the helicopter all the way up to Michigan City and he wouldn't let me fly. And, do you think I wanted to fly all the way up there to not fly the races? No. So,
I remember that. So I was
and again, I don't hold it against him. I think there's a lot of people who hate helicopters and they think, who's this asshole coming in? So last place I want to be is somewhere I don't want to be or I'm not wanted to be. So, I have no hard feelings with anybody. And I went back up there when it was Smitty's race and flew the next time and we worked it out. So, it's just there's a huge opportunity here and there's a lot of good people in it. So, I think Atlantic City, everybody should go. I think, it's the World Championships. You got 4 races. And if you don't go, you're not going to get any points. So I remember last year when, that whole scenario, and they're like, oh, they're giving double points. And I'm like, they could do that? And it's like, yeah, the guys who show up are going to get double points. And, that motivates some people to go, right? To me, I don't do it for the points. I do it for the experience and to be with the people. And, the points are, you can watch it, but it makes a bigger deal to most people than it does to me.
Well, I agree with you. I was supposed to be there, but our boat is still not finished, and it's just caused havoc. And so I feel like I'm really missing out on something. So, anyway, could you ever see a unification with what IHRA's tried to bring to the table in RWO, or is that dead in the water?
I mean, I've heard on multiple times that they had a done deal. It's almost like President Trump in Iraq, right? We got a deal done. I'm like, really? That would be cool, and then it doesn't happen. I mean, Tommy and Andrew, and Cocoa Beach and Leah getting let go, and then
that was a mess.
Tommy getting fired again, and I mean, all of that makes the future. I mean, it all could be getting us closer to the reality of that, which I think that would be good. But we can't make decisions for other people. We got to have a path forward where they kind of treat us the way we want to be treated, and that was what we told, Azam and his dad when it was P1. It's like, dude, we're spending all the money. We bring the circus to you, right? You think you're Barnum and Bailey Brothers Circus and you own everything. You don't own anything. You rent the cranes, right? And we bring the show to town and we get to pay you.
Right.
And we get to spend our money, right? And so, I mean, I've heard some exciting.
At some point, it won't make sense anymore for especially the small guys. I mean, I'm fortunate to run with a guy that enjoys doing it, but it's with the boat problems and all this other stuff going on, it takes the fun out of it.
Yeah, and again, I think I think when they used to have P1, they would have separate drivers meeting for and they were trying to like create this separation. I mean, to me, it should be like a family deal. You start in go-karts, then you move up the ranks, and with this separated world, it's not a grassroots sport, which is, I think, if you go back to day one, I said that's why I like this. This is grassroots. You look at professional sports. I don't even watch the NBA anymore. I used to be a fanatical fan, but I'm sick of their crap and all the stupidity, that goes on in that world. And now it's in colleges and it's creeping down to high school. So to me, this type of family sport activity skill, and if you can get to class 1, it can become a profession, but you're not doing it. The majority of the guys aren't doing it for that. They're doing it because they love it. Obviously, Britt Lilly and Sean, and there's guys who make their living racing boats. The rest of us get a pay for the pleasure of being there. So, I mean, I think it's the last, last grassroots sport. We've seen what's potential. You just can't deal cocaine and become, cocaine cowboy.
Right.
Just be a boat racer, and we can get. I think it can, be more exciting than that. I think, HRA's brought some good stuff. The little raft boats they brought to, kind of like an intermission in between where all of that was good stuff.
Well, and now you're bringing back the helicam, so you're bringing back actual good raw footage that, again, you allow everybody to have. I mean, your son Parker sent me footage last year when I asked for it, like no problem. Um, that's valuable to the little guy. That's something. That's a bone, right?
Yeah.
Guys love having that because let's be honest, I'd have to rent a helicopter and a camera guy, the whole thing to do that on my own. And here you are.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think that's one of the ways that, we want to work and improve how we work with you guys. And, getting the footage, if you rent the helicopter, that's expensive and it's limited to, certain people who
Right.
get it. My idea is, right now, we don't want to do that. We want to share the love, show the excitement, and, fix cameras on boats, and they can be part of the show, right? And switching it and keeping everybody's attention is, I think it's more critical now because of Instagram and all this social media. You lose people's attention, they move on. And, having a schedule that you stick to for racers and everybody, right? I've been at races where it got too late in the day and nobody got to race. They went all the way to marathon, this stuff that's unacceptable. You have to, spend more money to get the permit extended, have a backup day. And that's when with the class one boats, I think we all agreed that we need two races. This is too expensive to bring these boats and do all of this. And we need to race both days. And, the other people, if they only want to race one day, great. But I heard there's other classes now asking for that same,
Right.
treatment. So I'm happy, to have everybody be happy. There shouldn't be winners and losers in this. Everybody should be happy.
You're absolutely right. So with that being said, that was what we put out earlier today. I used the same eulogy, the Barnum and Bailey, and they bring the big tent. But the racers, the teams, they're the show. They're the guys dragging everything across the country, putting their
Right.
teams in a hotel, spending the money, eating there. Going to the Ace Hardware, getting stuff you need that you forgot or you broke something. At what point do you think teams could see, value back from like great cities we go to, like Michigan City? That's a place we go. They give us a great dinner,
Right.
awards, the stuff on the beach. And then you had Chicago last year was your event, and I thought for a first year event, very impressive. And that's where Vinny Diorio's comment stuck to my head. We've got a lot more to offer than the NBA does right now.
Yeah, no, I heard him say that, and I think, most people that haven't experienced it don't think that, but that's the challenge is to get in front of them and show them it or get them to come to a race. And it's way more fun to be outside at a boat race than it is stuck in a stadium with 20,000 other people. So, and I get, like everything's fun to go to once, like the Masters or, but once you've been to those things, it's not that cool. It's better to be in a boat race in the pits, hanging out than it is being a cow stuck in, certain walking paths. And so anyway, I think the boat races really do offer some. Chicago, I did the sponsorship at the last minute, which is the point I make to all these guys. I'm like, NASCAR guys call me $5,000, next weekend. And I'm like, how much good does that do me? Right? I'm not a president. I'm not a committed partner. So to be flashing the pan all over the place, that's not a look that I want to, do. So again, the boat racing is something that I'm proud of, and I think we could have done better, right? Been smarter, but that's what you do every day. You improve 1%, and over time, you can work most stuff out if you do that on a daily basis. But Chicago could be, and I think I've told Larry this, Key West and Chicago and Michigan City could be like a Triple Crown or a FedEx Cup, where there could be some cool shit, but consistency is what makes that happen. And so I was sad to see Chicago go. It's kind of first year you do anything, it's not going to be great. It was a great event, and we knew the lay of the land, the spectators, and hell, everybody's there. They're tourists now. It's not even a real business city anymore.
Right.
Nobody goes to work there. They all work from home. So it is a great town for that. And, all of the boats that they put in and take out every year, if you have a boat there, they're searching for something to do. All of those people that raft up down by Navy Pier, none of them had a clue what was going on. I mean, if you promoted that, it could be, I think one of the biggest races. It wouldn't be as historic as Key West, but it
Right.
could be kind of like Waste Management in Phoenix, right? The golf
Right.
tournament where they yell instead of they're quiet.
Yeah.
So
well,
it could be the
that's
rowdy
turning-
spot.
Yeah, it's a drinking fest now, I think. So even with that, Michigan City, Chicago, even St. Clair was looking like it was going to be a heck of a venue this year, and I could just picture that street they've got that's 4 lanes, double lined with boats all the way to the top of the hill. But it's not looking like that now. A lot of guys have backed out of going, I guess.
Uh, that was one I didn't have on my schedule, and as far as the schedule, which is a whole nother deal, but it's a different group, great people, and you can do fun stuff. We went to Tickfaw, and that's an experience everybody should do at least once if you don't want to go more. But I think we're gonna make it an annual event. They're just such great people down there, and it's a great environment to go
It
have
looked
a
like a lot
couple
of fun.
of days.
It looked
And
like
I
a
fell
really
in the water, lost my phone,
Oh,
and
no.
but they recovered it.
that's
One of my
amazing.
teammates jumped in and recovered it. So, but
Well,
yeah,
I
I
got to
think
Yeah, I got to see your turbine boat in Key West up close and personal, but I'm excited to see it in Boyne this year. I'll be there, and I believe you'll be at the Boyne Poker Run.
yeah. I mean, we announced it, and then we couldn't get in, and then Priscilla and Nick Buse somehow got us a spot. So we just actually made the final decision within the last 2 weeks, and then we're doing 1,000 Clayton, New York.
Okay.
So, and it all works out with the other races, so they really don't overlap. And then we are gonna, I think, take the turbine to Michigan City,
Michigan City.
and then we are gonna take it to Key West too. So,
Excellent.
but again, I don't know how many events a year most people want to do. The Class 1 guys, when we were having P1 meetings and WPRA and IHRA, how many events did they have? I think most people want to do 6 or 7. But, when you combine RWO with IHRA, I think you'd be like 12 or 13, right?
Which is too
But
bad.
now IHRA is dropping some races. So, we're going to stick to our plan as far as what we've scheduled. Really, Atlantic City we're adding, and I know some of the boats are going and some aren't. I really made it their decision on a case by case basis. If they go, we support them. So the guys who went to Lake of the Ozarks, even though I didn't go, I still supported them. So
Well, and that's what again, your nucleus. It's like they're like a big fan. It's an extended family, and you treat all your teams very well. I got to see the inside look last year in Key West because you allowed me some VIP stuff with some things we did, and and just a whole nucleus of good people.
Yeah, so we're gonna have the turbine boat in Key West. Again, and it'll be at A and B Marina, right there where it was last year. And Travis cooked the
Pastrana.
turkey in the turbine flame. And this crazy guy we know down there ate the turkey after it'd been cooked in jet exhaust.
Well,
We won't tell
hopefully-
you his name, but he probably wants us to.
Yeah, he probably would like it.
So, will the racers have a real voice as the championship series continues to grow? Are you going to help promote like you have been?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I think that I just want to do it smarter and get more value for everybody, and that's with long-term relationships. I've been divorced 3 times too, and I can tell you, starting over is no fun, right? So you gotta like to, make good decisions, and so I'm obviously I make lots of decisions. So percentage-wise, I make majority of good decisions. It doesn't mean I can't make a mistake, and
We won't hold
that's
that
like
against
everything
you, so.
else.
And then the last question I got, the towns we go to and like Key West and the city comes and they say we bring such a big economic impact. Do you ever see a future where that economic impact will trickle back to the little guy racer where it makes, because let's be honest. I mean, everybody wants to see Dirty Money, X Insurance, Great L, all the WHM. I get it. But what about the little guys? Is there a future for the little guys in this sport?
Oh, if I have anything to say about it, yeah. I mean, again, I think we, sponsor almost a boat in every class, whether it's, open cockpit or class 400. That's where you begin. And to me, what I've always said is transparency, right? That's what you want. And so again, whether you're a class 1 boat or a class 500, I think what you should get is the same, right? Travel money, hotel rooms. If you're a racer, you come, we treat you the same. The big guys, they can spend the money, right? It's not like they're not going to come if they don't get a hotel room. But, the small guys, if they get that support and prize money or share of, whatever the sport can produce as value, it should be shared with everybody, all the teams, all the classes, and we should all be interested in doing that. We shouldn't be focused on class 1, right? That's like that final act, right? That's the finale of the fireworks show.
Right. Exactly.
But it doesn't mean that everything building up to that and all the street parties and all that, like Dustin from Louisiana. He's a character. I mean, he's got more personality and people love him wherever he goes. And, I don't see many class 1 guys that, are like him. And I think there's lots of people like him that are every bit as exciting and fun, and they lift the sport up just as much as Taylor and Myrick do. I mean, they're great, but they're at the top end, and they do their part. But the little guys have just a bigger role to play, and I think it would be foolish to move in a direction where it's like we don't want those classes in our meeting. That's how people learn and have relationships and have opportunity in the future. So I didn't like that about P1, and somebody else didn't either, because they were the one who said, this is stupid. We should just have one drivers meeting, and everybody's a driver, throttleman, and they're involved in the same meetings. And all of the classes have their own separate groups and meetings anyway. So to me, it was almost an insult, but it's gone, so we don't have to worry about it anymore.
You're 100% right. Dustin's my guy. You're right. He's got more character and energy. Him and Owen they're like the super twins in that boat. And the conversations they have are hilarious. He's let me hear a few of them on the stuff they've recorded. It's nothing about boat racing they're talking about. So And I'll be honest, with what he's done in bringing Louisiana on board, I think guys should pay attention to that. I have. I'd love to see more
Right.
states get involved with their tourism. And I don't think it'll be too long before you see Dustin in a pro class one boat. He's got a vision and a
Right.
dream, and I don't think he's much of a quitter. So
Yeah.
I'll let
No,
you have color on that one.
he's he's definitely, I mean, you go down there to his Blind River bar and that's, it's over the top. And then he always feeds you too. So, what's to complain about?
Get nothing, right? And yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I met him in St. Pete, and he was getting ready to feed everybody, and yeah, they're good guys. So and Owen's a good kid. I mean, look at what he's already accomplished at what 17 years old, right? Almost 18, and the kid's got
Yeah.
more accolades and trophies than some of these guys been around 10 years wish they had.
Yeah. And he's a good person. And I think that has something to do with obviously his parents and they're in the boating industry. And, so it's just not racing, it's the whole boating industry. And, they take us around to these poker runs. They've been doing them for years. And so it's all good times. And, I'm blessed to be able to, be in a position where I can support good teams and do what I do and fly the helicopter. So I'm a blessed man. And I met you too. So
Well, I am. I'm 100% blessed. I'm blessed with my audience, with what we've done. My wife and I, we started something that I almost chickened out on, and then I said, we're going to do it, and it's grown. We did a poker run last weekend, doing some new fun things. Going to be in Boyne with American Custom Marine and Michael Knobloch. I'm excited about that. Going to be in St. Clair with the Ultimate Boat Racing Experience and Rob Goodwin. We're also going to be there with our 499 boat. It will be done for that race, I'm told. And it's because of where it's at, American Custom Marine. It's going to be finished.
all
So,
right.
yeah, I'm excited, but I'm blessed. You're blessed. But as a whole, this sport, these guys I know, we're blessed to have you and the Sky Boss that you are with your chopper and your footage, your family, Parker, Neil, all the guys that help you put it on and make it possible for the little guys, us little guys, to get that footage. Because let's be honest, Rick, none of us little guys could afford to do what you give us. Okay. I appreciate it. I know they do. I race against your 409 guys, Jerry and them, and they're tough to beat, man. But it's,
Right.
it's awesome when we're battling and you're over there filming us, and we don't realize it, but we feel it, and I appreciate it. So I appreciate your time. If people like what you see on our channel, please like it, share it with your friends, your family. X Insurance, look them up. Great insurance company doing a lot of exciting things. If you've got a business that's high energy, zip lining, amusement parks, Rick, what are the places you insure?
Well, we insure, 700 different classes of business. So tow trucks, repo, helicopter skiing, rafting, trampoline parks, parasailing, boat dealers, all kinds of race teams, motocross tracks. So, I've been doing it since 1985 and I have 10,000 clients nationwide, and they're good people.
Well,
And,
they must
I've
be.
met a lot of bad people and learned my lesson that, you can't go to court with bad people. That's kind of like going to the races with bad people. It's going to be a whole different experience, depending on the choices you make, which is what we all try to teach our kids when they're growing up. Hang out with good people,
Right.
hang out with people that are going to, win-win situations. So,
Correct.
but
It's all about the people you surround yourself with. You get yourself a good team of people, the sky's the limit.
I'll try. But I appreciate you guys, and we'll see. Well, you'll see the live stream from Atlantic City, and then we'll be at Boyne Thunder, and then Thousand Lakes, and then Great Lakes, or Michigan City, Indiana is the next RWO race. So we will see you there, right?
Absolutely. That's my backyard. My wife will be racing for the Ultimate Boat Racing Experience. She'll be driving her little gold 603 boat with Rob Goodwin. So we're
Oh,
excited
really?
about that. Yeah, I'm trying. Honestly, I'm while you put me on that, I had two other ladies lined up. Tequila K was going to come on and drive the other boat, but she hasn't been able to put together a sponsorship deal yet. And that's what it's all about, Rick. It's about sponsorship. These ladies have their own little businesses, but it's a couple grand to go race with Rob on a weekend. And Amber was able to put together some sponsorship. So I'm trying to find two ladies because we want to have a field of all women drivers. It's the V Limited class in the APBA series now. So they'll all be on the podium at the end of the day, but we want to find out who that winner is going to be. So I need two ladies to contact as the prop turns, tell me they want to spend a couple grand to go race. They got to get through the dunker test. That's something they're going to have to do with the safety team in Michigan City and get a membership. But other than that, I'm looking for two women that think they got what it takes to go boat racing. So
We'll see if we can't. We'll see if we can entice a couple of women to do it.
Well, here's what you
I,
get.
I'm not. It's $2,000, and they have to show up. That gives them the boat and a partner in the boat with them.
It gives them a throttle man, and they could put their name on the boat on every side, and their name will be on as driver. They have to buy a membership through RWO, which I'm not sure what that cost. I think $200, but I'm not sure. And I think there
And
might be
does that include APBA, or do they have to sign up with APBA separately?
I think they gotta buy that at the same time at Michigan City. So, like I said, it's gonna end up being like $2,500.
Right. Okay.
So if anybody's out
is
there,
your wife's gonna be in the silver boat, you said, or
the
the
603,
rust
yes,
boat?
yeah.
Okay, so has she ever raced before?
Oh, hang on a second, Rick.
Oh, God.
So that's her trophy from last year. And Steve LaPinta, if you're listening, she really got second. They got a penalty for going too fast, but they got third. So anyway,
So she did it last year in Michigan City.
yes, sir.
Now she wants to entice two other women into the sport. So that
Yes.
sounds like an interesting challenge.
Well,
We'll
if we
see
can
if
make
we
it
can help
happen,
you.
it would be exciting.
Yeah.
Should set up another call for that.
Yeah.
All right.
We should figure out some ways to promote that together.
I'm all
I mean,
ears.
again, I think it's, if you make it possible for people, I think there's people who'd come out of the woodwork and surprise you, like people I know. I'm sure they'd say, I would do that, but I've never asked anybody, hey, do you want to race? So we'll
That's the
see.
toughest part of this business is asking people for help and sponsorship. And like Dustin from Louisiana said, he feels like the guy that's trying to raise money for his kids' T-ball team so they can go play T-ball and travel.
All right. Yeah.
So, but anyway, so yeah, as the prop turns, you like it, share it. We're looking for some women, or at this point, even a couple guys, whatever. But yeah, Michigan City, man, August 1st. And I plan on getting a team together to play golf on that Wednesday. So
I'm going to be
Yeah, I'll probably be there early
Yeah.
too. So just because I got to get the helicopter up there. So
well, if you need a
we'll
place
look forward to
land,
seeing you there.
I got 5 acres if you need a spot to put the helicopter.
He
So,
froze up.
Goes up.
Sure.
all right.
Uh-oh.
Thanks for joining us,
Uh-oh.
everybody.
Well, let's stay